Morning, everybody, or good afternoon. We are about to start in 1 minute, so please be patient and thank you for joining on time. So, good afternoon. My name is Kinga Dąbrowska. I work for Microfinance Center, the network which is organizing today webinar and the whole series, how to build a corporate immune system in response to COVID. Today we are going to have a topic focus on how to amendment the lending policies for the new products and for the online channels. So that's the topic for today. This is the 4th webinar of our series of 6. And before we start, a few housekeeping rules. Please switch off your webcam and your microphone during the presentation. You can find the symbols of both next to your name, so please keep it switched off. And during the whole presentation, I encourage you to write your questions in the chat box. And this webinar is recorded, and both with presentation will be available at our website mfc.org.pl. So that's about logistics. And before we start, a few words about the program, thanks to which we can organize this webinar, thanks to EasyTA program. This program is financed and managed by European Commission itself. And there are 2 strands of technical assistance offered under this program. The first one is being implemented by a consortium of Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, Microfinance Center, and European Microfinance Network. And the second strand is being implemented by Microfinanza Rating, who is offering ratings and evaluation services to the beneficiaries. And the geographical focus of this program includes countries of the European Union, as well as selected other countries such as Albania, Republic of North Macedonia, Iceland, Montenegro, Norway, Serbia, and Turkey. And the following services are offered under this program. For selected beneficiaries, so those who have gone through the call of expression of interest launched by the European Commission, they can receive free of charge technical assistance. For example, trainings, courses, TA tailored to the individual needs of the institution. Under this component, we also offer investment readiness trainings and institutional assessments. For those institutions that have signed up to the European Code of Good Conduct, we are offering trainings on the implementation of the code to prepare institution for the evaluation. And for those which went through the evaluation and are still in need of trainings, we are also offering post-evaluation trainings. And lastly, for a wider European microcredit sector, we are offering different types of dissemination practices. These may be microfinance workshops or webinars, such as this one. It can also be peer-to-peer trainings, study visits, or opportunity to use the help desk. And if you need any more information about the program, I encourage you to check the website or contact via email, which is available on the screen. And today we are hosting the 4th webinar in the series. However, I would like to encourage you to register for the upcoming ones. Tomorrow, we will be talking about risk management for beginners and backup staff. And then on 29th on, we will focus on financial planning and financial modeling. All the webinars within this series are recorded, and as well with other resources related to pandemic crisis are available at our website, which direct link to the library you can find on the presentation. This presentation will be also available with the recordings of the webinar. And our speaker is Artur, who some of you knows because he's conducting the whole series of the webinars. Artur has more than 20 years of experience in microfinance. He's a former CEO and board member of Microinvest. He has been also serving as a board member and advisor in several other companies in agro-food, finance, and ICT. And he has experience from a diverse number of countries in ECA region. So he's going to share some of his experience again with us today. But before I give floor to Artur, I would like to ask you to answer the short question. Do you plan to introduce a new product or service in the next 2 months or already introduced since start of the epidemic? So please take a few moments and answer this quick question. Let's wait another 10 seconds. We already have 60% of participants answering. So let's give a few seconds to others. Okay, good. So let me close the poll and share with you the results. So 55 of you plan to introduce or already introduced some new products and services. So that's great. And if you didn't introduce, that's also good because you can learn some new insights. And those who already introduced, they can check what else they can do. So thank you for this. And without any further delay, Artur, the floor is, or the mic, I should say, is yours.
Dear Kinga, thank you very much for this introduction. Dear participants, welcome for newcomers and welcome back for those that joined previous webinars. Today I would like to talk and discuss about quick and less costly amendments to lending policy, because we don't have much time in the crisis and we don't have big budgets. So I'd like to discuss about new products and new channels that is possible to quickly adjust or create or develop. We have two big parts for today, the new products, loan products especially, related to agro, to food processing, to pharmacy, to new life models, and mezzanine or equity products. That will be something new for microfinance institutions or microcredit providers. And the second part is new channels related to face-to-face mobile or loans via the smartphone, via Viber, WhatsApp, Messenger, or whatever programs are you using. And face-to-face remote, as we call, with online interviews and online monitoring of our clients, of our borrowers. This is the plan. We have 1 hour, 20 minutes, not more. Lending policy adjustments. We all know the lending policy structure, but I would like to remind that every lending policy shall have a scope and link to other documents, shall have a clear target segments with products and channels, including limits per product, per segment, per channel. Shall have great organizational structure with clear responsibilities for every department and staff member. Shall have a chapter on information collection and credit analysis, and microfinance institutions were used to collect face-to-face information and face-to-face in the office, and were used to collect documents, to see, sign, and stamp documents. This was the traditional classical microfinance. The next group is decision process, which was usually a face-to-face credit committee, but also later online or remote credit committee or risk officer decisions. Not less important, security and collateral, and of course, loan disbursement, which in some countries were in cash, and a lot of microfinance institutions has operated teller offices, and other microfinance institutions were using other channels. Well, when we talk about target segments now and about channels, we have a variety of solutions. We can have simple calls or telesales. We can have video calls. We can have SMS. We can have emails, web page, web applications, social media, and a combination of all of this. We can have separate or a combination of all of this, right? Now, when it comes to information collection chapter of the lending policy or stage, we also have mobile face-to-face possibility now, a simple call possibility, a remote online face-to-face. You have data aggregators which sell data about the clients, and social media where you can collect, they can sell, but you can also collect yourself as an institution data available on social media. As mentioned, classical microfinance was usually face-to-face branch in the branches or face-to-face at the client home or client business premises or offices, right? This was, and now suddenly we need to do something else because the branches are closed or working half a day or working in shifts. And probably we want to close completely because the peak of the virus is not known when will be, and might be a solution to close. Now, the lending policy had other important chapters like post-credit chapters after we have disbursed the loan. And we have the loan repayment. And here we also have some channels where to repay the loan. We have the chapter related to upsale or cross-sale. We have the loan monitoring and risk classification. We also have provisioning. And it's interesting how we'll be provisioning this time for new products or for existing products. We have the archiving, which is not anymore a physical archive, but it will be an electronic one. We have loan planning process for next quarters or months or years. And of course, new product development and evaluation. So the lending policy is the main document, one of the main documents in our microcredit institution. So we need to adjust it to the new circumstances, to the new external factors. If we don't adjust it, we're breaching it. So internal auditors or external auditors will observe those breaches. So we need amendments. We need to design new amendments, and we need to approve those amendments at the governing bodies of the financial institutions. As mentioned, repayments has also channels. How do we repay? Do we come to the branch? Do we have cards? Majority of microfinance institution clients had no credit cards or debit cards. Do we repay via mobile payment solution, via online wallet or mobile wallet? How do we repay the loans nowadays? We don't have yet electronic money, although some countries started to work on the design and implementation of the electronic money. So if we'll have electronic money, probably we'll need branches. Okay. Loan monitoring, how do we do? We would use to visit clients once in a quarter, once in a year, to see how they invested the money received from the loan institution. We will do it now online, we'll do it video, we'll take some pictures, will they send us some pictures? What is the process? We'll not monitor at all. We'll collect data from the statistical offices if this is a registered enterprise, or from the data aggregators, which have enough information about financial statements, although they come late in the statistical office and late to the data aggregators companies. So lending policy changes before and during the crisis. For sure, the chapter related to target segments will change, because we'd like to stop some segments, as we've discussed during our previous webinars, and would like to reduce some sectors, and would like to increase other sectors. And we need to add those sectors to our lending policy. We'll need probably to adjust our exclusion list of loans as well. Institutional limits and credit exposures, minimum amount, maximum amount vis-a-vis equity. Some institutions will say we decrease our maximum amount. This is our policy to be more conservative. Some institutions will say in their policies that they'll increase the amount for some of the sectors and will reduce the amounts for other sectors. So it's a full review of some chapters which needs to take place quickly and approved via the stakeholders or via the structure of the institution, whatever it is, the management, the board, the shareholders, they need to approve the amendments. Now, collection information about the clients. Some of the policies that we have seen, they have compulsory a loan application which shall be signed in original face-to-face in the branch with the client and with the loan officer. And suddenly we don't have this possibility, so we need to amend this. In some countries we have electronic signatures and they're used. Some countries they have electronic signatures but they're not used. How do we do it? We need to adjust. Face-to-face at the office vis-a-vis mobile face-to-face. What I would like to propose you actually is to imagine a lending policy only with your phone. Because the majority of clients, they have the phone. Majority of staff members, they have the phone with them. And is that possible to have a simple video loan? Or combination of some information which is sent via the phone channels and recorded video. So that's the proposal to you, and I have seen already institutions in Romania offering this video loans, video interviews, video monitoring with clients. This is the new stage, the new moment to test and implement such a policy. So how will you collect information about the clients? Yeah. Do you need any more loan application? Some will say yes, some will say no. Is it enough to record that the client asked for 1,000 euro or for 10,000 euro loan? Of course, if your policy mentions as appendix a loan application form, you need to respect that policy. But if you adjust and you say that a video request is enough, or SMS request is enough, or email request is enough, you'll be able to work. And the reason we were all asking for a loan application signed and a loan contract signed is that the court were asking for those. We were thinking about bad cases, but I believe that courts are now also moving online. and some of the courts and jurisdictions, legal jurisdiction, accepts emails and SMS as a probe, as a fact that somebody asked for some money. So it's possible to change, but we need to decide how. So mobile face-to-face and remote face-to-face. I distinguish here mobile face-to-face. I mean, you use your phone, video via the Viber or WhatsApp or Skype or whatever channel, Zoom. And remote will be other channels. Will be you need a computer or you need another equipment to do it. Yeah. So it's also online, and it is taking place at a distance, and you record. I don't have too much time to talk about all the possibilities and channels. My idea is, and proposal to you is a simple video, phone, loan, and interview. Okay. Now, when you have a video interview, you also need some quality of service assurance. You need to engage the client. You need to have a standard that you use. And the reason I'm proposing mobile video phone is that the core key human resource of a microfinance institution is still loan officers. So they're not programmers, they're not IT specialists, they're not either call center specialists. They are specialists in talking with people and analyzing some documents or collecting some documents and sending some documents to the risk officers. So in order to move completely online, you'll need a lot of programmers. So you'll need to lay off your loan officers or convert them into the call center specialists. So if you keep them and you don't lay off in the crisis your core team, you can use your video interview. You're not in the office, but you are close to your clients, and you can the same monitor their body language, their eyes connection, and what they say and how they say. But you need some rules. You need some rules to design how long this interview will take, where you'll record the information, with whom you'll need to have the interviews, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay. New products. Quiz time, Kinga.
Okay, let me.
Shall I disconnect?
No, it should work. So we have two questions for you. The first one is, what segment do you think may grow despite pandemic situation and an economic crisis? And you can choose more than one answer. Artur, do you see the quiz, the poll?
Yes.
Okay, and then the second question is, do you have liquidity to serve those segments? So if you plan, or if you already started, so do you have liquidity? So please take a few seconds to answer those two questions, and soon I will show you also the results, so all of us can see what we think.
Scroll down for the second question, okay?
Yes. So what segments do you think may grow despite pandemic situation? And do you have liquidity? So let's, okay, I see most people already answered. We have 68% of you answering, or more than 70. Okay, 5 more seconds and I'm closing the poll. Okay, great. Thank you very much for answering those two questions. And here are the results. So equally, 76% of you think that agro and food processing may grow despite the crisis. Interesting, nobody chose tourism, which I think for those who participated in previous webinars, which we held, is obvious. Also, quite many of you think that IT services, health and medicine will grow, followed by education, chosen by 37. And almost half of you said that you have liquidity to serve those segments. Artur, do you have any comments?
Yes, I think the key sectors are evident, and also when we look at housing or tourism, this also actually may grow in the sense that agrotourism or isolated small villas or summer houses. There is a new article about the from the author of the Black Swan book. You know, he was writing about crisis, and he says that is the end of megapolises. So there are more economists and authors and writers saying that there will be a new life model, or going back to the old life model of moving back to villages or rural areas and avoiding crowds and avoiding concentration per square meter. Let's put it like that. So, but yes, food first of all, and agro. Transport depends, but transport needs to transport the food, unless the food is used locally from the regions, if they have enough food in that region. Health and medicine, of course, education, yes, and it's good that there is liquidity for new products. That's very good. 48% of you answered that you have liquidity. I was expecting like 100% saying no liquidity, but that's good. That means you prepared well, or you already have some subsidies from the government programs or from your shareholders, partners, and lenders. Very good. Let's continue. All right. So we have the new product development process, where we need to do the market research, we need to do the prototype, the design, the field testing, refinement of the product, pilot testing and launching, and of course evaluation. So it's a long process, but during the crisis we need to skip some stages, or we'll need to use some free electronic solutions or online solutions to do the market research quicker. So we can use the Zoom quiz or poll or survey options or monkey survey to quickly understand our existing clients' need and potential clients' needs. So it's really not anymore about face-to-face questionnaires and surveys, but it's about online surveys. And maybe you'd like to go straight forward into the pilot testing instead of prototyping and designing, and you'd like to be first with a new product on the market, because being first is still a competitive advantage, but being first well prepared, because being first not prepared is probably not a good strategy. So cut some steps or use free technology to do it faster and less expensive. So sectors that will continue to grow, exactly as you've mentioned, agro, food processing, pharmaceutical production, herbs, tea, antibacterial, soap, pharmacies, trading with pharmaceutical and parapharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical will be not our target, because maybe pharmacies trading with pharmaceutical, but producing new pharmaceutical products, that means a lot of investment. And but some antibacterial, some soap production, some herbs, some tea, this is probably our clients as micro lenders. Individual medical offices might be dentistry or some, but they're also closed nowadays, maybe open sooner. If we eat a lot during the pandemic, want to stay at home, probably will be queuing at the dentistry. IT, especially e-commerce, right? Again, there are some startups everywhere, but what we want the e-commerce solutions quickly, as well for the finance industry, but as well for agro-food industries, for all other industries actually. masks and coveralls instead of fashion and clothes. So your clients in textile or garment, they'll be able to quickly change their production processes by adding 1 or 2 new equipment. But the style of fashion probably will change as well. You'll have this cover all materials, is probably plastic clothes that will need to enter the supermarket, which is like science fiction, like moving in the cosmos with these clothes. But probably this will be the new trends that will appear on the market. Now, increase the limits or change the limit with the condition to diversify by subsectors, because a simple increase in agro is not okay. If in the agro sector you support only milk production, you continue to increase the milk production to, I don't know, 60% of your portfolio, 100% or 80% is too concentrated. There is no diversification at all. So diversify by subsectors of the agriculture. And agriculture has a lot of subsectors. You have the vegetables, a big variety, the fruits, a big variety, grain and pulses, spices and medical herbs, plants. So the agro sector is a big sector. So please diversify by subsector, and in such a way you'll be able to convince your risk department or your lenders which have strict covenants on agro. But again, agro is related to other risks and meteorological conditions, right? So probably you'd like to work with clients in greenhouses or clients with irrigation systems, or you'd like to have a product which minimizes the other risks of being agro products frozen or protected against heavy rains, or protecting against heavy wind, and so on and so forth. So diversifying in agriculture is possible. Again, don't increase one subsector to more than, I don't know, 45, 50%, and make sure that you have other mitigation tools in place, that your clients have irrigation systems or equipment, other protective equipment to have good harvest for the coming months and coming years. Everybody is now talking about shortage of food in the coming months. The World Bank is coming with a project, especially for the food security. So we can, as development institutions, as small micro development institutions, we can come with good solutions as well, and we can look at our subsectors. Yes, we can have animal feeding, and in animal feeding we also have several type of animals for meat production. We can target a new type of animal farm, free, open space. We can target emerging subsectors, organic, bio, high protein, although the bio products are very expensive, in my opinion, too expensive. So we'll see how the bio sector will develop. Nonetheless, when the supply chain of inputs for agriculture is breaking down, what remains is actually to grow a bio product and to use only the local available fertilizers, organic fertilizers, and no need to import fertilizers from China or from Germany or from other products, because the transportation is not moving and the supply chain and distribution is broken. So developing local ecosystems of bio products with local inputs and fertilizers probably is what you want to support. New ways of storing or sorting and packaging, getting together in cooperatives. In some countries, cooperatives are very well developed and some not. Getting together for marketing, for online distribution, for online promotion and distribution of the products. So the conclusion here is you need to analyze your internal data, compare subsectors from your MFI's database with data from statistical offices and from the economic classificator of all activities, all subsectors. and see where you have activity, where you have investment, where you don't have, and why you don't have, where you can grow. So analyze based on the comparison, and decide what sectors you'd like to support. But make sure that other risks are managed well. There are minimum 50 subsectors in agriculture only. So in some countries even more. So plenty of opportunities for agriculture, and we can secure food for ourselves and probably for other neighbors and regions with our products. Do your agriculture. Maybe this is a new life model. It's coming from do yourself in construction, like repairing your building. Maybe now you'll not repair your house, but you'll grow some tomatoes, and from one piece in Holland, they get 20 kilos of tomato. That's maximum possible. So maybe you'd like to have some support of individuals which lost the job but want to grow their own vegetables and sell a part of it to the neighbors. Partner in this case with suppliers of local seeds or suppliers of micro agro equipment, not big tractors and machinery, but there are a lot of small tractors of machinery. Again, part of it was coming from China, but nonetheless, there are local productions of some of the equipment. And you'd like to partner with them because you can develop kind of leasing if you want, or pay in installments for irrigation system or for plowing system that you need, because working by hand will be very, very hard. You may want to support some solar water heating or electricity. Those solutions are also available. Some of them are subsidized by the European Union. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are coming from China as well. This channel is not clear how it will continue, but there are local producers of some equipment. So if you'd like to get in partnership, strategic partnership for the crisis, and get new products to your clients. Yeah. All agro products may have same interest rate, same collateral, and same requirements, but in terms of advertisement, you may have, I don't know, 10 or 25 products in terms of advertisement, because we all, as clients, want to hear our problems. So if I'm a tomato grower, I want to hear about my problems. A simple agro loan advertised to everybody will not work. Institutions which changed their product for the advertisement purpose, for the promotion purpose, had bigger success. They had good customer acquisition rates, and they performed well. Because if you have more clients, you can select from more clients the best clients that you would like to serve. We still need to manage the credit risk as microfinance institutions. We're not a subsidy institution. We're not a grant provider institution. We're a lender which needs to manage the credit risk in the crisis too. Okay. The next sector will be food production, and there are a new number of new food processors that start to operate. Burger from vegetables, not from meat. Yeah, so you'd like to support them. There are a lot of new clients which deliver meals at home. You'd like to support them as well. So processors, which might be simple packaging or simple processing, but you'd like to support. Because for a while, our behavior as consumers was to go to the biggest supermarket and buy for 1 week because we're busy, and this will change, because crowding in one supermarket is risky. Bacteria and viruses are crowding as well. So we'll change our behavior, and we'll buy from local neighbors or producers, small producers. So there is opportunity for microfinance institutions. And this will be bread, pasta and biscuits, seeds and nuts oil, meat processing, fish, if you're a fish country. working from home trend, small processor can distribute as well directly to the final clients. That's a big opportunity for our small clients. They were always, in a way, complaining that the prices are set by big supermarkets. I'm not against big supermarkets, but the clients now can directly sell to our home, the small farmer, if they get together, because you as a client, me as a client, we don't want to meet 25 people at our office or at our home. Would like probably 2 or 3 and not more to have the fresh vegetables and fruits for the whole week.
So Artur, are you also saying that, for instance, this can be one of the services that institution may help to connect different clients if they are small producers and initiate that?
Well, the lender shall remain as a lender, but I know microfinance institutions, they have additional services, non-financial services. They may want to invest with somebody or co-invest, because leading a marketplace for food is a different business, and the financial institution is not structured well to lead. But if they find some leaders in other startups or growing startups already in marketplaces or e-commerce for agro-food, they may want to support them with loans, with advertisements, with cross-sell. So it's a good opportunity to investigate, but the core business remains lending, and we need to remain at what we know to do, because even in this, we need to learn how to lend online, how to do the video interviews and the video monitoring and video screening. So it's an opportunity. It needs to be investigated if we have time and resources, because the future is about integration of disruptive future, but it's about integration of all services, financial services with e-commerce, with fulfillment services and distribution services. This is what we see. At the same time, we want to avoid monopoly. We want to avoid that will be only 2 big, I don't know, eBay, Amazon, and Alibaba. We want probably to have small opportunities for smaller clients, and the financial institutions can play a role, development financial institutions with social missions. Yeah, thank you for this, this comment. Very good one. Okay. Yeah, so you'd like to be the first to support the new initiatives. Health and medicine for producers and traders of spices instead of medications for chemicals, produced from chemicals. Yeah, you'd like to promote the spices instead of medications if it's possible. Hygienic products, soap, antibacterial, antivirucid. Pharmacies, maybe online pharmacies will start to work if this is allowed, because in some countries, pharmacies are not allowed to work online. Vitamin C rich products, I don't know, there might be a big list of vitamin C rich products. Yeah, health and medicine is also a big sector, but as I mentioned, producing a new medicine, it's a business for venture capital probably and big private equity, and not for microfinance. Nonetheless, maybe somebody can work in this sector as well. IT and e-commerce, walk around the incubators and accelerators. They also have tough times this period. Walk around meaning via online conferences. They're very active as well. They may have some startups ready for you, for your clients, and you can share this information to your clients. I don't know, drones or phones used to monitor agriculture harvest, or other mobile applications to be used for production, distribution, and e-commerce. So you'd like to touch this this sector as well. Although some of them, after the startup phase, and as they call it, round A phase, they need 100 million euro to be invested. And yeah, interview existing and new clients and see what they say about the IT sector and about the growth. It was not a sector for microfinance because it had no collateral. The programmers had 2 computers or 3 or 4. So they had no in a way asset to be pledged or collateralized. So it is more an analysis based on track record of those staff members and entrepreneurs. Was not always a big sector that microfinance was financing. Maybe it's the time to do it. Yes, now I'm moving into a completely new product, unusual for microfinance, for microcredit. SMEs that stopped work and they need to be restructured, they need the equity injection. They need the equity to grow. There are a lot of unemployed people on the other hand as well, or there will be a lot of unemployed people because companies are cutting costs, not only because of the technical unemployment. And microloan, it creates a job for myself or for family members. But other products may create more jobs for the community because to compete, you also need to grow, you need to be an important producer of some products. Not the largest one, but probably middle-sized. And that is why I'm proposing you to look at mezzanine or equity product. Well, the mezzanine loan will be a loan, as you know, to do it, but with the possibility to convert into equity because you don't have, the client has no collateral for this loan, or has no co-signers or personal security. So maybe you'd like to invest in that IT company or in agro-food processing or in agro-food e-commerce distribution, but you don't have the equity experience yet. So you'll write a mezzanine loan contract with the possibility to convert into equity and become in the future, or in the case that it be, a shareholder in that company. Of course, it's a different business line, completely different business line. But please remember that in this crisis, our clients have a lot of loans and have no equity. And the business of the lender is to analyze the credit history, to analyze historical cash flow and future cash flow, and debt to equity ratio. And if the client is over-debted, your risk manager will refuse. You as a sales manager will say, okay, let's do these loans, but your risk manager will refuse the loan, will reject the loan. So you need other products to fight unemployment and to create opportunities for your SMEs. And this is the mezzanine loan convertible into equity. Well, the stress test will show low MFI equity and low equity in SMEs as well. With sales decreasing during the crisis, how will you pass the risk committee or credit committee and issue new loans? Yeah. Maybe some agro-food processors, they show increase of sales, but they need the equipment as well to grow, to cope with the increased demand on agro-food products. And if the leverage ratio is high, you'll not issue a new loan. The risk committee will refuse. So you need a loan, which is kind of a equity or convertible into a equity. Okay. And this mezzanine loan I'm proposing to you for a test, this might be an amount between 25,000 euro to 100,000 euro, which will be from 26 to 76% of the equity, if you convert into the equity of that SMEs. And this will be a medium to long term product. You'll really contribute to the development, you'll really create employment for 5, 10, or 25 people. This will be partially secured with collateral, but as well highly structured with a lot more conditions like audit, usage of funds, approval of transactions, monthly or quarterly interest payment, or maybe grace period of 1 year to go via the COVID crisis. If you'd like to do a pure equity investment, then this will be the same amount, and you'll become a shareholder. And you'll need to structure this business in terms of reporting, in terms of audit, in terms of usage of funds, approval of certain conditions. It can be preferred income or annual dividend. You may want to come together with other MFIs to develop a regional pilot program for the equity. But if you have the social mission and your social mission says we are creating jobs, I'm convinced, and there are a lot of researchers done by EIF and OECD and EBRD and a lot more institutions, which shows that equity products shall play a role. Equity products are a good instrument to create jobs and to move via the crisis. Okay. Any questions so far? No?
No questions.
Okay. Good.
So feel free to write your questions in the chat.
How much time do we have?
We still have 20, 30 minutes. So Arthur, there is actually a question.
Yes. Okay, good.
If in case of mezzanine products, who do you think should manage mezzanine loan portfolio, monitoring of individual loans, risk management? And in Romania, is there a regulatory issue of MFIs providing such loans?
Good question. I think this is related to my, let's see, in my next slide. For equity, you'll need a separate institution, separate legal framework. Exactly the next slide. To scale up this product, you'll need a separate legal institution. In Romania, if you do a loan, you can do it under the non-bank financial institution law. It's a loan, and it will have additional clauses to convert into the equity. So mezzanine, you can do it, but pure equity, you'll need to set up a new institution. There is always possibility to do it, because if you have few cases as pilot, you have the right to invest as a company, you have the right to invest in other companies. But if you grow it as a business into a formal asset management, then you'll need to follow the strict venture capital and private equity regulations. Yeah. So you'll need an advice from the lawyer. But as a pilot, you can do it. A mezzanine loan convertible into equity. You can do it. You can do it. Again, who can manage this? You need some experienced managers, and this is my second point in this slide. If you have SMEs lending team, you're not pure micro consumer loans, but your SMEs, you have an SME team, or your branch managers, they experienced economists and managers, so they can manage. Risk officers, in my opinion, are experienced as well if they have a business top management experience. But I would prefer the sales team for the pilot project, and I would prefer the branch managers, which are eager to develop, because the risk analysis is different. It's not the case now for this training, but I prefer branch managers and sales managers to manage. Ideally, you'll need to have in this team people which were in senior management positions, were entrepreneurs, managed companies, exited, ideally if exited from some companies, yeah. Additionally, your branch managers or your SMEs lending team will need the training on venture capital and private equity. Of course, you'll need liquidity for that. And to start, probably, depending on the amounts, you need, I don't know, for pilot, €500,000, €1 million to start as a pilot and to show. You can get together regionally with more institutions if you want. You'll need to have clear investment and risk management policy and main exit strategies. But one of the strategies will be to repay as a loan. To repay as a loan is just that the term is longer and the grace period is longer compared to a monthly micro loan. Okay.
So Arthur, it looks like this idea of equity product brought some interest. So there is another question. Do you know any MFIs who have moved into this direction and introduced such product, or at least tested? And do you know any results of that?
Not so many MFIs that moved into, they were busy lending. Last 10 years, they were all growing. It was economic growth, yes, high growth. Everybody was growing. There are some initiatives in Greece to fundraising create. There are some initiatives in Poland and Romania, but they're not coming from microfinance institutions. They're coming from other, mainly in IT sectors. But we can apply the same IT sector experience into other sectors, into agro-food and food production. There are examples of funds. They're not necessarily coming from microfinance, but there are examples of funds. Well, going back to our strategy, those that attended our previous webinars, there are two options. Either microfinance institution will become a big player in micro lending, will become probably a bank, or will have access to savings, or if it will not be a bank, will have access to local currency loans via the bond issues. This will be a big player. The small institutions will need to do something. And if their mission is development, they'll need to add other products to develop. Look, the open markets are closed now. Our clients disappeared. Will they come back to the open market to sell tomatoes or potatoes? I'm not sure if those farmers which are producing will sell directly to our home. The middleman, which was always a fight of the middle trader, which was always the target for the government to reduce prices for food, will disappear now. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, so it's good that I've provoked you to look at other instruments. Now, for the equity products, the due diligence, yeah, the investment process, the analysis, it's not credit analysis, it's called due diligence, but it's used due diligence in lending. But due diligence is a different process than lending policy. You'll need to look at a different number of aspects, including management team, history, market growth, company opportunities. It's more complex, process, methodology, automation, IT, privacy and security. A lot more needs to be checked and verified and discussed with. Maybe you'll start with clients clients that borrowed from you money, they paid money in time or still have an outstanding loan, but they have a good business plan, outstanding plan to grow in the future, and the micro loan was not enough. And you don't want to lose that client to a bank or to a bigger financial institution, so you may come with the equity to grow it to the next phase and then leave it to the banking institutions or to other financial players on the market. So it's different. The equity due diligence is different. Yeah, you'll need some legal due diligence as well, some analysis of track records. So probably will be a team of economists, lawyers, entrepreneurs, and risk managers, as it was proposed by the person which asked the question. Okay, now going to the second part, new channels. And we have a variety of channels, but let's go back to the strategy. Because in this crisis, we have different strategies, right? We have institutions which will continue with massive investments. This is on my right side. They'll develop new channels. They'll continue to work with professional subcontractors. They'll continue to have channels via web, via mobile, telesales, chatbot, voice, virtual assistants, everything. They'll continue. Massive investment needed. If you have the liquidity, you'll do it. And there are some institutions which will work with the channels they have. The simple informative website and the limited call centers, right? And there'll be institutions in the middle. This is what I'm proposing for you to adjust with your existing team and do video interviews, video screening, video monitoring, yeah? There'll be institutions which you'll probably don't want to do video, they'll do telesales. But with telesales is not enough for lending because you'll also need to receive some information or some documents, and you'll need at least to have emails And not all our farmers have emails and prefer to open the computer and to send something. So this segmentation is working here because different segments work with different equipment, and you'll need to know whom you're targeting. Yeah. But if you need to cut cost, maybe you want to postpone your massive investment in all the channels. Maybe you want to postpone and stay on one channel. Or maybe it's the time to develop, but you need to have the budgets. Postponing subcontractors to develop new channels in order to save cash. Yeah, we talked about stopping CapEx and big OpEx. So this is an opportunity to stop doing this and concentrate with your existing resources, your core team and your core resources. What are you good at? If you're good at interviews, you'll be doing video interviews as well, of course, with additional writing on how to do it, how long this will take, how to do it, how many questions, where do you store the videos and pictures, and you'll be doing okay. So what is your strategy in the crisis? Maybe you have a clear strategy. If you don't have, you need to go back and do online brainstorming and write a strategy, approve a strategy with the shareholders, and start moving online. Whatever strategy and channel you implement or develop, it shall be simple, shall be calling to actions. Process shall be clear step by step. I went onto some website of the financial institutions in the region, and I see all the loan products. It's not clear. Are they lending or they stopped lending? I go on some websites and I see exact application already for the online loan, which is pretty clear that this call to action. They asking you to fill in the loan. They asking you to send documents or send information to receive a credit card at home where you will receive the loan. So calling to actions, it should be simple and calling to action step by step. So in this IT jargons, they're using user experience specialists. So there are user experience specialists. If you can subcontract them, if not, ask your clients to just follow that. Pay your clients to follow your new channel and see how easy it is, how long it will take, and how much pleasure you'll have by applying online or by applying via SMS or chat box. So as mentioned, we have a variety of channels, and one institution will probably go omni-channel, and that means web and social, mobile application, online self-service, face-to-face remote, physical premises, face-to-face mobile, contact centers. And now it's not only call centers, it's contact centers, because they have additional chat box. So the people which are sitting behind the telephones, they're also sitting behind the chat box, and they answer some questions. And then they redirect and redirect and redirect until you are not happy and you close this online channel and you don't want to be a client anymore. So you want to avoid this long, unclear processes between different channels. And you have this chat bot, excuse me, which is an electronic answering machine, right? You write the question and they answer. You write the question and they answer. And then they finally redirect you to the human beings and to the call center with life experience. So I don't know if you want to develop the chat bot, you might want to pilot, but in this crisis, don't stop some channels and be clear on what channel and develop one channel, very good one, or combination of maximum 2 channels, video and pictures, and I'm sure you'll acquire clients faster, and you're doing okay in this crisis. So I'm proposing you face-to-face mobile and this face-to-face remote, which you'll be, using a computer actually. This is what I'm proposing for you. If you don't have resources, you work with your existing resources. So programmers are scarce resource and expensive resource. It was before the crisis like that, and they're expensive now too. And when they come with a big team. The architect of the program, the tester of the program, the program itself, the project manager. So it's a big team, and it needs to be paid in order to have good quality. Again, if you have budgets, your shareholders approved, you want to go via this route. If not, do a simple channel, which will be a video channel. And by the way, you developed your websites, and automatically with the website, a chat box came, and nobody's answering on that chat box. I've checked some of the financial institutions' websites, and nobody's answering. So, not a good service. Not a good service. Close the chat box completely if it's not ready. Use free solutions, but don't forget that free today may come at a cost tomorrow. We're using Zoom for free. Some services may come with payments, Skype for free, some other services with payment, Viber for free now, maybe it will be with payment, I don't know. But if it's free and is working and all your clients are on WhatsApp or Viber or Messenger, please use that channel to communicate with your clients, okay? So loan via the Viber or WhatsApp, via the phone. What I'm proposing, get one channel. You do the promotion, you discuss with the promotions agencies, and the publicity will come on the phone. Some applications of the phone or even on the Viber. The application will come, publicity will come there, right? This is one option. You'll fill in some data and you'll send it back. This is your loan application. Another option is that even loan application will disappear. The client will state the request orally, and you'll record this request video. But make sure they have enough storage in your database or in your cloud or what you're using that you record all the pictures. Videos are having a disadvantage. They're big, and some pictures, if they're not taken correctly, they're also big in size. It takes you storage resources. Okay, so send application via Viber, receive application via Viber or WhatsApp. And when I say Viber here, I mean all the communication channels that you are using, okay? Now, pre-screening and screening. So will you do an online interview? Yes, you can. You do your quiz. You have your questions, you'll ask them, and they can fill out and send via Viber, or you can do it via video. You'll decide how to do it, okay? So video interview with recording, video observation of client's eyes and body language. This is your loan officers good at, or a mix of the above. Pictures. Now you need detailed instruction what pictures to take, and you'd like to have a picture of the office, picture of the deposit, picture of the car or movable assets with some identification numbers or codes, and with the date of the picture on it. Okay, so you need to have exact details, otherwise those pictures will not be useful. And you'll see some pictures which are taken from the internet. We want to avoid this, right? Again, do it on a pilot. Do it on a pilot. See how it is working. When it comes to questions, you have a group of questions here. Questions to evaluate or cross-check relevant experience of the entrepreneur and or the team of that company. Questions to evaluate character or persona. Personality or entrepreneurial team, questions to evaluate credit history, questions to evaluate relationship between shareholders and between managers and shareholders. This will play an important role for the future of this business. Questions to evaluate market trends, yeah, and competitors and sales possibilities. Now, when it comes to analysis, we were used to do financial statement analysis and current account statements analysis. And usually we were receiving some data and keying in data in a spreadsheet. Well, now in some of the countries, the financial statements are available. You can check it yourself. You can have access to a database and you can check the financial statements, not to the current account yet, but you can ask that they can send to you current account statements. It would be good that these statements are zipped, because our emails for sure are copied, and Yahoo or somebody else or Google are selling aggregate data, but to big institutions, not to our small microfinance institutions. So when you send account data, first, don't send numbers and passwords. Second, the data can be zipped, and then it will be more complicated to store it. Okay. We can have access directly to the state databases. Please make sure that you have these agreements with the state databases, and you'll check it yourself. And you can download those financial statements, or you can have a contract with data aggregator companies. Pictures via Viber. Check social media. You need to check if the picture of the client and the video you had are the same. Excuse me. Or the social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever media exists and data needs to be cross-checked and compared. And other databases that exist, please check. Because in this online business, you'd like to avoid frauds. Yeah. Probably you'd like the instructions, and you'd like video to show the garden or farm, or to show the warehouse, and to show the transport. So one way is pictures, another way is the current situation, are the tomatoes growing or not growing? And you may want to have a combination of the video with pictures in your policies that you require. But precise instruction to take pictures from what angle, what size, when, how, address, and so on and so forth, date of the picture. Yeah. Any questions so far? No? Okay.
No questions so far.
Yes. As mentioned, a lot of microfinance institutions, they have their spreadsheet as a credit analysis tool, but they don't put it on the website, or they don't send it to clients. Put it on the website, create a tutorial, webinar, online tutorial, how to use the spreadsheet. Train your potential clients and existing clients so that you receive all the data keyed in, and that then that data can be compared with other data you have from the statistical office or other offices. Especially this is about forecasts, cash forecast, and historical data, but cash forecast, microfinance institutions are always doing themselves or with information from the client. Probably now you can have simple cash flow forecasts, and you can put those forecasts on the website, and don't think that your competitors will take it. You do it fast, you do it for your clients, and you want your clients to key in data as fast as possible and as precise as possible. So those standardized tools to be filled in by the client shall come with a tutorial, with a video tutorial immediately when they fill in. So it should be nearby when you enter data and it's not clear what you need to do next step, the tutorial should be there. Well, that's already more expensive, but you can develop a mobile application or work with partners. And here's an interesting idea. Invoicing systems, accounting softwares, billing systems, fulfillment systems, all these companies have enough information about clients, and you can partner with them actually, and you'll have access to their data. Imagine what is happening today. A small business is keying in data into an accounting software or in an Excel. If you have good systems, this data will be in your computer, in your bank. So a number of institutions are offering these accounting solutions or management information system solutions or invoicing solutions to their clients. Financial institutions are offering this for their clients for free or half price. Why you offer for free? Because you have the data. Because you have the data for you. And then immediately your scoring will work, and your financial analysis will work, and the creditworthiness analysis will be ready. So there are a lot of data everywhere in computers and phones, but they are not yet coming fast and well aggregated to the risk officer's desktop or computer or laptop. Okay, and I think we are at the end. If you have questions, please please ask me. If not, I believe you have enough ideas and information to start a new product, pilot a new product, adjust your lending policy, and implement these new products and new channels. And start step by step, evaluate after the pilot, and adjust as you go, and you'll have competitive advantages.
All right, thank you, Artur. So now it's time for questions. Okay, so there is already the first one. How to sign the contracts with clients if the branches are closed?
Yes.
I guess it depends also on the law on the country.
Depends, yes, but even before the crisis, I know two institutions, they were disbursing the money only with the one-line confirmation from the client. Because the client confirmed that took the money, so the risk that you did not sign, it's, you know, how many clients will complain. So they signing after that by post. And I would like to tell you one story. When I started microinvest in the first 5 years, I went to a conference, face-to-face conference in Boston, and met some people from Deutsche Bank development department. And after that, they called me and they said, we have a loan, we agreed on everything. And he said, sign last page and fax it. He was faxed at that time. They don't have faxes anymore, right? And he transferred, he did not sign. The institution did not sign. It transferred an amount of money to our account. We met once only. Video confirmation that I took the money and I must repay to you in time in conformity with the repayment schedule every month on 22nd, it's a confirmation. The contract started from oral contracts. It moved to written, but if you have a video recording or if you have a confirmation via email, it shall work. It's risky, I know. You are used to stamp documents, to sign 3 copies of the loan contract. Electronic signatures, you're using electronic signatures, you're signing some documents, your fiscal statements, don't you, in some countries? You can use those signatures as well. So there are a lot of possibilities. Depends how you look at the risk. Will the client say that he did not receive the cash? If he received the cash in a bank account, it's clear on the statement. I know how it is. Your lawyer, your legal department will say, no, we're not doing it. Risks and opportunities. If you'd like to help some clients, you'll find a solution to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great, thank you. Are there any more questions? You may also now unmute yourself and ask verbally the question.
Okay.
Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat bot.
Keep healthy, exercise, okay. Stretch.
Okay, Artur. So I have one question. Like, if you would give one advice based on your experience and also all the mistakes you saw like how to start with, everything we talked about today, like, selecting the segments or selecting the channels we are going to use. Like one thing, what would it be?
Yes, first is analyze the core competencies. What do we have? Do we have a call center which works as well with chat boxes already? Do you have only loan officers which were used to work in the branch? And if you have loan officers which used to work in the branch, then start with them a call center and start a video channel, a face-to-face video channel via the phone, because the difference is they'll not have the client in the office, they have the client remote, but there will be a video that they record. So this is as simple as that to start. Analyze your written policies and amend them, propose these amendments to your shareholders so that they agree with the changes. And after that, look at the sectors, compare existing subsectors, especially subsectors with the statistical subsector, look for growth opportunities. And there start to promote the product detailed for the tomato producer, for the chicken and eggs producers, and so on and so forth. Find them. And yeah, adjust as you go. Make sure that you have liquidity for all the new products. And this is how I'll do it. And if you have additional staff resources to pilot something new, like equity or mezzanine, to support some of the clients, do this as well. You have a new product department, or if you CEO has time and interest to go via accelerators and the incubators and look for opportunities to co-invest. They have some marketplaces, YIM channels, do this as well and screen them. You still need to do the screening of those potential deals. So this is how I'll do it shortly.
Okay, so great, thank you.
It's several weeks to really.
All right, I don't see any more questions, so I would like you to take 2 minutes to answer our evaluation poll, just to let